All right, this is going to be a short video on garlic mustard and identification of garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is seen here in southern Minnesota in actually quite a few places around the United States as well. And we'll get to that here in a moment. Some information on garlic mustard. Some of the implications of it is it can inhibit fungi associations with native plants that are beneficial to them. It can also cause vegetation decline within about 5 to 7 years when it gets established into an area. Garlic mustard was native to Europe, so that's its native range. And it first came over here to the U.S. It's estimated that it was first in New York State in the 1800s and may have been brought over for food and medical purposes at that time. Garlic mustard can grow in stands of about 1 to 4 feet tall for the second year plants here in Minnesota. And you also see here in Minnesota it has a 2-year growth cycle. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here as we go through it. Here is the distribution of garlic mustard in the U.S. Any of the counties that are green are counties that, as of the time I grabbed this map out of EDD Maps, has been reported in those counties. So there are some states, every single county has it. There's a few states that have counties that don't have it, or they likely might have it, just has not been reported. The link down on the bottom of the slide there shows you where I got that from. You can also see that website for distribution maps of many other invasive species as well, and including additional information on those. Here is a stand of garlic mustard. Garlic mustard has these white flowers, which we'll take a look at here a little bit later on. But you can just see it forms kind of this dense stand of garlic mustard, where this is mostly all garlic mustard and not very many other species in there. That can crowd out their native species, prevent light when it gets thick enough from penetrating down to allow other species to germinate and grow. So it can really cause quite a few issues with the native ecological community as time goes on. Here is a close-up. Both of these photos is mostly garlic mustard. There's some other species coming up in there as well. But the leaves of the garlic mustard, this is the first year form. The first year they are rosette, so they are not the 1 to 4 feet tall during the first year. Typically, you just see this rosette form that kind of sits down towards the ground. The leaves, they kind of have this net leaf venation to them, and they're also kind of heart-shaped to them to a certain extent. And they are, depending on the light, they kind of look a little light green in there, but they're actually a bit of a darker green leaf. But in the picture, they appear a little bit lighter green. So taking a closer look at the leaves, the image on the right here is just an example of the alternate arrangement of those leaves. The leaves are dark green. They can also remain green during the winter. So that might be a clue if you're trying to identify this in the winter, that it may be garlic mustard. They are coarsely toothed around the edge, which you can kind of see in this picture as well. You'll likely be able to see that as well in some of the other pictures. The plant in general, when it is crushed, leaf stems, has a garlic odor to it. I would definitely say it's got a garlic odor. Some people say it's kind of like an onion odor to it. But once you have identified it and gotten that sense of odor to it, you'll be able to recognize it pretty easily from there on out. Here is just another picture of the leaves. There are some flowers here. I'll talk a little bit more about those here in a second as well. The flowers then are white, as you can see from the picture. They are also 4-petaled. They are small. These are found on the second year growth of the plant. So the second year, the plant will come up and continue to grow. It will usually grow into that 1 to 4 feet, and that is when that plant will grow. There are numerous flowers found in clusters. You can see here some of the flowers already missing off of this when I took this picture. But you can see what the flowers would look like, and there could be many more than just a few flowers you are seeing here. Again, here's a couple more examples. Both of these have flowers out. You can see the one has some flowers already open, and then a bunch more buds into the center of the flower as well. And then there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 petaled flowers in there. Again, kind of looking from the top down, even this view over on the side here, you can see kind of that heart-shaped leaf, and then it's got the coarse toothing around the edge or the margin of the leaf as well. Seeds are found in these green slender capsules. We saw some of those kind of starting to form on one of the previous pictures. In the red circle, I've kind of tried to highlight what they look like here. It kind of blends in with this, but these are some of the seed capsules. Inside there, you will see black seeds. They're kind of shiny as well. July or August in our area is typically when this will happen. These seeds can also be viable in the soil for up to 5 years, so you can get a pretty big seed bank of these, which means the control and management of these can take quite a bit of time. It can take several years. Just a few general things for control and management of this. Try to prevent the plants from flowering. Even if you pull them out when they start to flower, they can still continue on to develop seeds after that point. So if you can pull those plants out, remove those plants before they go to flower, that is the best option because that will prevent them from producing those seeds. I already mentioned hand pulling. This is the method that I have used in the area. You can use repeated cutting and mowing as well. It's a big thing, if at all possible, prevent new infestation. So if you see a couple of these, try to pull those out and remove those right away. Also, be sure you're cleaning equipment that you're using before you start a new site, whether it be lawnmowers, trimming, clipping equipment, four-wheelers, or even just out hiking and biking. Stay on those trails and make sure equipment is being cleaned. Again, as I already brought up, this can take several years to control these because of the fact you can build up that seed bank. And so repeated kind of going out, pulling these, cutting them, mowing them over the course of several years can really help to control, if not, depending on the size of the infestation, maybe even be able to completely eliminate that. So you can look online at multiple different websites, our reference books to get more information on these and controlling them. But I hope this short little video was helpful in identifying garlic mustard.